How y'all doing? Good. All right. That's not bad. It's a little better than yesterday, but we'll get you going. So, welcome to Poetry Out Loud. This is the finals. We had great semis yesterday and some wonderful, amazing poets and performers coming back again today. And we had a great audience, and I expect you guys to outperform them today. We had a wonderful set of judges, and we have some returnees and some new ones. We'll get started. Just to get it going, I'm gonna say poetry, and you'll say out loud. We wanna raise that bar. As I said yesterday, we wanna make it feel like a Baptist church up in here. We'll try. It is getting warmer, so you shouldn't use the cold as an excuse. So when I say poetry, you say out loud. Poetry. Out loud. Poetry. Out loud. Oh yeah, it's getting hot. All right, so we will start with introducing our judges. Bless you. We have very illustrious judges and folks that I have met and known, and some that I'm just meeting today. Please welcome them. We have Michael Keeber-Diggs. He is a poet, an essayist. His writing has appeared or is forthcoming in McSweeney's, Poetry City, North Dakota Quarterly, Paper Darts, Waterstone Review, and a few anthologies and collaborations. He's a past fellow with the Givens Foundation for African American Literature, a past winner of the Loft Mentor Series in Poetry, and a 2018 recipient of an Artist Initiative from the Minnesota State Arts Board. He lives in St. Paul with his wife, Karen, and their 16-year-old daughter. Please give it up for Michael. We have Timothy Adi. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. You gave a clue. He said, say his last name like body, which is very helpful. And Frez, you're keeping score today. Y'all, I'm going to be 10 for 10 today, right? On the names. All right, that's what I'm going for. It's always the hardest thing for an MC. I literally had an artist not talk to me anymore because I said his name wrong. At least that's what I believe. That's what I prefer to believe, actually. So Timothy Adi is a poet and critic. His poems have appeared in or are forthcoming from Denver Quarterly, Fence, Sixth Finch, Sand Journal, and elsewhere. Reviews and criticism have appeared on LitHub, Colorado Review, Hazel and Wren, and the Chicago Review of Books. He was a 2014-2015 Loft Mentor Series winner, a fellow at the 2017 Poetry Incubator, organized by Crescendo Quarterly and the Poetry Foundation. And he is also the host and curator of the monthly Poetry Book Club at Subtext Books in St. Paul. But he lives in Minneapolis. That's all right. This is where all the party happens, you know. There's a story about that, but I won't get into it. Maybe I'll tell it later. He lives in St. Paul, where he works at Coffee House Press and walks his dog every day, but keeps a home on the internet, which you can find at www.timothyadi, that's OTTE.com. Give it up. And we have Anitra Budd. She is a freelance editor and copywriter for numerous clients, including the Loft Literary Center, Trivent Financial, 3M, and Redline Editorial. I love that a poet is like, yeah, I love that. Helping financial institutions. Yeah, that's right. They do, actually. Yes. Artists are, creative city making, moving into the city planning and things like that. We can do it all, y'all. They say that actually tech companies are looking more for liberal arts majors these days. And my parents are always like, I don't know what you're going to do with an English major. Look at me now, Ma. No, I'm just kidding. I'm up here hosting. That's right. I'm hosting and emceeing Poetry Out Loud. Look at me now. Little did they know when I was leaving poems all over the house, writing under assumed names. We might talk about that later too. It'll be an adventure. In addition to writing and editing, she teaches editing and publishing topics at Macalester College in the University of Minnesota and in a low residency MFA program at Sierra Nevada College. You just working. That's right, give it up. Anais Dio Marquez. See, I'm going for no hitter today, striking it all out. She is a writer with roots across the U.S. and Mexico border, whose work looks at identity, displacement, trauma, and healing. She believes stories are their strongest with a good cumbia and plate of tamales. Who can disagree? Seriously. She is the founder of Border Voices, which uses storytelling and performance to curate shows and conversation that center immigrant and refugee voices of folks of color. She's also a 2015 winner of the Loft Literary Center's Mentor Series in Poetry and has performed at the Loft Literary Center Intermediate Arts, Dakota Jazz Club, and Pangea World Theater. Her essay, Our Silence Won't Save Us, Recovering the Medicine in Our Stories, was published in How Dare We Write, an anthology of writers of color on the writing, life, and process. She is currently finishing her first book of poetry, a project based in oral histories about the legacy of Mexican migration, displacement, and resilience in her family. Give it up. I told you, illustrious folks up in here. Rhea Davison has taught writing classes at the Loft since 2010, specializing in teen classes, including the ACT essay and college application essay. She has experience teaching creative writing, literature, and English composition at the college level and has an MFA in prose. Her honors include winning first place in the Robert C. Wright competition, attending the Calorie workshop, and serving as artist in residency at Devil's Tower, and participating in the Loft Mentor Series in the genre of poetry. Please give it up. And she is our accuracy judge, so you all need to be nice to her. She's watching you. Frez Tao is an activist, writer, and hip-hop artist. He's the Executive Director Emeritus for the Center for Hmong Arts and Talent and moonlights as an organizer, educator, and truth teller. Give it up one more time for all our judges. An accuracy judge and scorekeeper. All right. So just to give you a little bit of information about how it's going to run tonight. If you were at the semis yesterday, we only had 2 rounds, but today we're going to have 3 rounds. So if I can find that page, I want to make sure I get it right. We will do the first round, then do a short break, then do round 2 competition, and then we'll do another short break, and then the top 6 students will be announced, and they will advance to the 3rd round. Any questions? No? Good. All right. So, how y'all feeling now? Good. Yes. Y'all ready? Yeah. Oh, you ain't ready. One more time. Y'all ready? Yeah. All right, let's bring these wonderful, brilliant students up to the stage to enliven us, give us life through poetry. Are you all ready? You about to do it? All right, get your Wolverine claws out. Just kidding. We have our first performer tonight, Trent Ramit. He is a sophomore who spends time singing, acting, dancing, and watching movies with friends. He enjoys jamming to Broadway show tunes and drinking Dasani sparkling water. Yes, we mentioned that yesterday. Love it. It hasn't changed since yesterday. No? Good. He is also from Big Lake High School, so please welcome to the stage. Hold on, before you do that. We have on deck Paige Yanni. But before that, please welcome to the stage Trent Ramit.
The Gaff by C.K. Williams. If that someone who's me, yet not me, yet who judges me, is always with me, as he is, shouldn't he have been there when I said so long ago that thing I said? If he who rakes me with such not trivial shame for minor sins now were there then, shouldn't he have warned me he'd even now devastate me for my unpardonable affront? I'm a child then, yet already I've composed this conscience beast who harries me. Is there anything I can say with certainty about who I was, except that he could already draw from infinitesimal transgressions complex chords of remorse, and orchestrate ever undiminishing retribution from the hapless rest of myself? The son of some friends of my parents has died, and my parents, paying their call, take me along, and I'm sent out with the dead boy's brother and some others to play. We're joking around, and some words come to my mind, which, to my amazement, are said. How do you know when you can laugh when someone dies? Your brother dies, is what's said. And the others go quiet. The backyard goes quiet. Everyone stares. And I want to know now why that someone in me, who's me yet not me, let me say it. Shouldn't he have told me the contrition cycle would from then be ever upon me? It didn't matter that I really only wanted to know how grief ends and when. I could hear the boy's mother sobbing inside, then stopping, sobbing, then stopping. Was the end of her grief already there? Had her someone in her told her it would end? Was there someone in her kinder to her? Not tearing at her as mine did, still does. Me, for guessing grief someday ends. Is that why her sobbing stops sometimes? She didn't laugh, though, or I never heard her. How do you know when you can laugh? Why couldn't someone have been there in me, not just to accuse me, but to explain? The kids were playing again. I was playing. I didn't hear anything more from inside. The way now sometimes what's in me is silent too, and sometimes, though never really, forgets.
All right. How you doing, judges? Got the first one? All right, so we have on deck Cheryl Mindy, and coming to the stage, Paige Yanni is an avid reader and performer who always has a smile on her face. She's excited to perform her poetry in front of others, and she hails from Washburn High School. Please welcome to the stage, Paige.
Barter by Sarah Teasdale. Life has loveliness to sell, all beautiful and splendid things, blue waves whitened on a cliff. soaring fire that sways and sings, and children's faces looking up, holding wonder like a cup. Life has loveliness to sell, music like a curve of gold, scent of pine trees in the rain, eyes that love you, arms that hold. And for your spirit's still delight, holy thoughts that star the night. Spend all you have for loveliness, buy it, and never count the cost. For one white singing hour of peace, count many a year of strife well lost. And for a breath of ecstasy, give all you have been or could be.
How many people this is their first time to a Poetry Out Loud event? A few? Okay. So Poetry Out Loud is a national event, and high school students all across the country compete in their schools, in their classes in their schools, and then the top students go to the semis. And then the finalists all meet up in Washington, D.C. For the national finals. And that's what we're going to be determining tonight. And so you see the road that they have come, and it shows a lot of commitment and love of poetry. So give it up for the students. Sidney Drake, you are on deck. Okay. And we have, coming up next, Cheryl Mendy enjoys literature and politics, and she's excited to have made it further in the competition. Next fall, she'll be a junior at Blake School. So please welcome to the stage, Cheryl Mendy.
Planetarium by Adrian Rich, thinking of Caroline Herschel, 1750 to 1848, astronomer, sister of William, and others. A woman in the shape of a monster in the shape of a woman. The skies are full of them. A woman in the snow among the clocks and instruments, or measuring the ground with poles in her 98 years to discover 8 comets. She whom the moon ruled, like us, levitating into the night sky, riding the polished lenses, galaxies of woman there, doing penance for impetuousness, ribs chilled in those spaces of the mind. And I, virile, precise, and absolutely certain, from the mad webs of Uranusborg, encountering the nova, every impulse of light exploding from the core as life flies out of us. Tycho whispering at last, let me not seem to have lived in vain. What we see, and seeing is changing. The light that shrivels a mountain and leaves a man alive, heartbeat of the pulsar, heart sweating through my body, the radio impulse pouring in from Taurus, I am bombarded yet. I stand. I have been standing all my life in the direct path of a battery of signals, the most accurately transmitted, most untranslatable language in the universe. I am a galactic cloud, so deep, so involuted that a light wave could take 15 years to travel through me, and has taken. I am an instrument in the shape of a woman, trying to translate pulsations into images for the relief of the body and the reconstruction of the mind.
One of the things I love about Poetry Out Loud, and also just the spoken word movement, I think I sort of alluded to this yesterday, but growing up in late 80s, poetry wasn't the thing to, to do. Nobody was clamoring to do poetry, and they didn't have things like this. So I used to write poetry in secret, and I wrote under assumed names. Some of you, were here yesterday, so you heard it. But two that I used were Wordsworth Du Bois. Yes. Oh, yeah. And Roger P. Nelson. So I would write under these assumed names, thinking nobody was gonna, know it was me. The Roger P. Nelson one, which is Prince's name inverted, Prince Roger Nelson. I wrote, who remembers the Super Bowl Shuffle? Yes. I grew up outside of Chicago, and the Bears won the Super Bowl that year, and Refrigerator Perry and Jim McMahon. And so I decided at the basketball, like the final basketball party, to do a rewrite of the Super Bowl Shuffle and put Roger P. Nelson as the poet, and thinking nobody was gonna know that it was me. I left it around. I tend to do that a lot. It took me a while to come out of my shell. I always say I'm an introvert in an extroverted career. And so I was writing poems under assumed names, leaving them all over. But that was a classic, and now it's on video. But yes, maybe one day I will share my Super Bowl Shuffle by Roger P. Nelson, and you will all be amazed at the talent back then. Huh? Will I dance to it? Oh, I could dance to it? Okay, but nobody pull it on Spotify. No, don't. Tonight's not the night. That ain't gonna happen. Oh, goodness. How we grow. One day you'll have these stories to tell to your kids. I'm just kidding. We have on deck Silwa Hassam. But coming up next, Sidney Drake is a high school senior. She hopes to attend Pittsburgh College in Claremont, California to study biology, and enjoys caring for animals, trying foods from other cultures, and taking photographs. And she hails from Marshall School in Duluth. Please give it up for Sidney.
Becoming a Redwood by Dana Gioia. Stand in a field long enough, and the sounds start up again. The crickets, the invisible toad who claims that change is possible, and all the other life too small to name. First one, then another, until innumerable they merge into the single voice of a summer hill. Yes, it's hard to stand still, hour after hour, fixed as a fence post, hearing the steers snort in the dark pasture, smelling the manure, and paralyzed by the mystery of how a stone can bear to be a stone, the pain the grass endures breaking through the earth's crust. Unimaginable the redwoods on the far hill, rooted for centuries, the living wood grown tall and thickened with 100,000 days of light. The old windmill creaks in perfect time to the wind shaking the miles of pasture grass, and the last farmhouse light goes off. Something moves nearby. Coyotes hunt these hills in packs of feral dogs, but standing here at night accepts all that. You are your own pale shadow in the quarter moon, moving more slowly than the crippled stars, part of the moonlight as the moonlight falls, part of the grass that answers the wind, part of the midnight's watchfulness that knows there is no silence but when danger comes.
Man. Aren't they doing amazing so far? Yeah. Give it up. That's right. Give it up. Beautiful. And that's part of the reason I was telling that, it's just beautiful to see programs like this, and it's stuff that I wish that I had when I was growing up, and to see them come up and with such courage and confidence and brilliance. So, good work, y'all. Good work. We have on deck Mirazelle, and coming up, we have Silwa Hassam. She's heavily immersed in the world of politics and social justice and is constantly seeking out opportunities for self-betterment. And she hails from Columbia Heights High School. Please welcome Silwa Hassam.
Can I just say Happy International Women's Day? Yep. Give it up. The Song of the Smoke by W.E.B. Du Bois. I am the smoke king, I am black. I am swinging in the sky, I am ringing worlds awry. I am the thought of the throbbing mills. I am the soul of the soul toil kills. Wraith of the ripple of trading rills, up I'm curling from the sod. I am whirling home to God. I am the smoke king, I am black. I am the smoke king, I am black. I am wreathing broken hearts. I am sheathing love's light darts. Inspiration of iron times, wetting the toil of toiling climes, shedding the blood of bloodless crimes. Lured lowering mid the blue, toward towering toward the true. I am the smoke king, I am black. I am the smoke king, I am black. I am darkening with song, I am hearkening to wrong. I will be black as blackness can. The blacker the mantle, the mightier the man. For blackness was ancient ere whiteness began. I am daubing God in night, I am swabbing hell in white. I am the smoke king, I am black. I am the smoke king, I am black. I am cursing ruddy morn. I am hearsing hearts unborn. Souls unto me are as stars. In the night I whiten my black men, I blacken my white. What's the hue of a hide to a man in his might? Hail, great, gritty, grimy hands, sweet Christ, pity, toiling lands. I am the smoke king, I am black. Thank you.
I love that poem. You can see why I wanted my name associated with that was my only goal. I was like, if I can publish a book, be next to Du Bois. Life goals accomplished. All right. Judges, you good? Okay. Coming up on deck, we have Sarah Most. But right now, coming to the stage, we have Mirazelle, who's a senior at St. Paul Academy. And in her spare time, she loves doing any kind of art, although she hopes to one day be a research scientist. Please welcome to the stage, Mirazelle.
Semblance Screens by Liz Waldner. A moth lies open and lies like an old bleached beech leaf, a lean-to between window frame and sill. Its death protects a collection of tinier deaths and other dirts beneath. Although the white paint is water-stained, on it death is dirt and helpless. The just severed tiger lily is drinking its glass of water, I hope. This hope is seared. This hope is severe. What you ruin ruins you too, and so you hope for favor. I mean, I do. The underside of a ladybug wanders the window. I wander the continent, my undercarriage not as evident. So go more perilously, it seems to me, but I am only me. To you it seems clear I mean to disappear, and am mean, and project on you some ancient fear. If I were a bug, I hope I wouldn't be this giant winged thing, spindly like a crane fly, skinny-legged like me, kissing the cold ceiling, fumbling for the face of the other seeking. It came in with me last night when I turned on the light. I lay awake, afraid it would touch my face. It wants out. I want out too. I thought you a way through, arms wide for wings, your suffering mind twinned. Screen. Your unbelief drives me in, doubt for dirt, white sheet for sill. You don't stay other enough, or still enough to be likened to.
We have on deck Bella Cleary, and coming up now, Sarah Most is an avid mountain biker and fierce table tennis competitor. She'll take you down. In her free time, she enjoys social justice discussion and activism, and is excited to return to the Poetry Out Loud competition this year. Please welcome from Eastview High School, Apple Valley, Sarah Most.
To Have Without Holding by Marge Piercy. Learning to love differently is hard. Love with the hands wide open, love with the doors banging on their hinges, the cupboard unlocked, the wind roaring and whimpering in the rooms, rustling the sheets and snapping the blinds that thwack like rubber bands in an open palm. It hurts to love wide open, stretching the muscles that feel as if they are made of wet plaster, then of blunt knives, then of sharp knives. It hurts to thwart the reflexes of grab, of clutch, to love and let go again and again. It pesters to remember the lover who is not in the bed, to hold back what is owed to the work that gutters like a candle in a cave without air, to love consciously, conscientiously, concretely, constructively. I can't do it, you say. It's killing me. But you thrive. You glow on the street like a neon raspberry. You float and sail, a helium balloon, bright bachelor's button blue, and bobbing on the cold and hot winds of our breath, as we make and unmake in passionate diastole and systole the rhythm of our unbound bonding, to have and not to hold, to love with minimized malice, hunger and anger, moment by moment, balanced.
How many people this is their first time to the Loft? Shy, you can raise your hand. The Loft is one of the nation's leading literary arts centers. It advances the artistic development of writers, fosters a thriving community, and inspires passion for literature. And each year, they engage more than 3,000 beginning, intermediate, and advanced writers of all ages in learning opportunities. They host over 100 authors in readings, dialogues that draw over 10,000 people. They connect more than 160,000 unique visitors through digital resources on their website and collaborate with at least 30 local and national organizations. And they pay over $400,000 to writers through grants and contracts, and are very critical part of our community, and work with the National Endowment of the Arts and the Poetry Foundation to bring this together. Give it up for the Loft. And I've been with them for a while, way over by on University, that wasn't the original Loft, but that was the but that was the building before they moved over here. So, long time. We have on deck Habak Hassan, but please welcome to the stage Bella Calorie. She is a junior at Arcadia Charter School and enjoys slam poetry, literature, and hopes to study medicine. Please welcome to the stage Bella.
Please Don't by Tony Hoagland. Please don't tell the flowers. They think the sun loves them. The grass is under the same simple-minded impression about the rain, the fog, the dew. And when the wind blows, it feels so good. They lose control of themselves and swab-toggle wildly around, bumping accidentally into their slender neighbor. Forgetful little lotus eater. Solar-powered hydroholic, drawing nourishment up through stems into thin, green skin, high on the expensive chemistry of mitochondrial explosion, believing that the dirt loves them. The night, the stars, reaching down a little deeper, with their pale albino roots, all Dizzy Gillespie with the utter sufficiency of everything. They don't imagine lawnmowers, the four stomachs of the cow, or human beings with boots who stop to marvel at their exquisite flexibility and color. They persist in their soft-headed hallucination of happiness. But please, don't mention it. Not yet. Tell me, what would you possibly gain from being right?
When I say how y'all feeling, say feeling good, feeling good. How you feeling? Feeling good. Anitra, that's right. She feeling real good. All right. Beautiful. We have on deck Alena Vang, but coming up to the stage, Habak Hassan plans on attending Hamline University in the fall, hopes to study business, and enjoys attending social events and watching makeup tutorials. Coming from Columbia Heights High School, please welcome Habak Hassan.
Passing by Toy Derricott. A professor invites me to his Black Lit class. They're reading Larson's Passing. One of the black students says, sometimes light-skinned blacks think they can fool other blacks, but I can always tell, looking right through me. After I tell them I am black, I ask the class, was I passing when I was just sitting here before I told you? A white woman shakes her head desperately as if I had deliberately deceived her. She keeps examining my face, then turning away as if she hopes I'll disappear. Why presume passing is based on what I leave out and not what she fills in? In one scene in the book, in a restaurant, she's passing, though no one checked her at the door. "Hey, you black?" My father, who looked white, told me this story. Every year when he'd go to get his driver's license, the man at the window filling out the forms would ask, "White or black?" pencil poised without looking up. My father wouldn't pass, but he might use silence to trap a devil. When he didn't speak, the man would look up at my father's face. "What did he write?" my father quizzed me.
It's a great novel, by the way. Yes. All right. On deck, we have Sidney Stromgren. And coming up to the stage, Alena Vang is a junior at Johnson High School. She's excited to compete in this year's Poetry Out Loud competition, as well as to meet other contestants. She's also an independent person who believes that trying new things and exploring new things allows you to discover new talents you never knew you had. Please welcome to the stage, Alena.
It Couldn't Be Done by Edgar Albert Guest. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he with a chuckle replied that maybe it couldn't. But he would be one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed. "Oh, you'll never do that. At least, no one ever has done it." But he took off his coat, and he took off his hat, and the first thing we knew, he'd begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin. Without any doubting or quitted, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done. And he did it. There are thousands to tell you it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you, one by one, the dangers that wait to assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start in to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done. And you'll do it.
All right. We have on deck Grace Alferts. But coming up to the stage, Sidney Stromgren is a senior at Harbor City International School in Duluth. She loves art, her siblings, and snow. You're in the right state. And she looks forward to attending college and studying language and culture. Please welcome to the stage, Sidney.
There Are Birds Here by Jamal May. For Detroit. There are birds here. So many birds here is what I was trying to say when they said those birds were metaphors for what is trapped between buildings and buildings. No. The birds are here to root around for bread the girls' hands tear and toss like confetti. No, I don't mean the bread is torn like cotton. I said confetti. And no, not the confetti a tank can make of a building. I mean the confetti a boy can't stop smiling about. And no, his smile isn't much like a skeleton at all. And no, his neighborhood is not like a war zone. I am trying to say that his neighborhood is as tattered and feathered as anything else. as shadow pierced by sun and light parted by shadow dance, as anything else. But they won't stop saying how lovely the ruins, how ruined the lovely children must be in that birdless city.
So, see this? Well, actually, I didn't want you to see that. But if you have a cell phone, can you please turn it down so we make sure that the poets aren't interrupted? And we have our final poet of the first round. Please give as much applause as you did at the beginning of the evening to Grace Alferts. She enjoys performing and writing and is currently finishing her first book. And she is excited to be part of Poetry Out Loud competition coming from Washburn High School. Please give it up for Grace Alferts.
Ah, why? Because the Dazzling Sun by Emily Jane Bronte. Ah, why? Because the dazzling sun restored my earth to joy, have you departed, everyone, and left a desert sky. All through the night your glorious eyes were gazing down in mine, and with a full heart's thankful sighs I blessed that watch divine. I was at peace and drank your beams as they were life to me, and reveled in my changeful dreams like petrel on the sea. Thought followed thought, star followed star through boundless regions on, while one sweet influence near and far thrilled through and proved us one. Why did the morning rise to break so great, so pure a spell, and scorch with fire the tranquil cheek where your cool radiance fell? Blood red he rose into arrow straight, his fierce beam struck my brow. The soul of nature sprang elate, but mine sank sad and low. My lids closed down, yet through their veil I saw him blazing still, and bathe in gold the misty dale and flash upon the hill. I turned me to the pillow then, to call back night, and see your worlds of solemn light again throb with my heart and me. It would not do, the pillow glowed and glowed both roof and floor, and birds sang loudly in the wood, and fresh winds shook the door. The curtains waved, and wakened flies were murmuring around my room, imprisoned there till I should rise and give them leave to roam. O stars and dreams and gentle night, O night and stars return, hide me from the hostile light that does not warm but burn, that drains the blood of suffering men, drinks tears instead of dew. Let me sleep through his blinding rain and only wake with you.
Keep the applause going for all the poets in this round. Yes. Great work. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we'll come back for round 2. Thank you.